Marc Marquez finally opened up about the great sacrifice he had to make to join Ducati. Behind his smile and current victories with Ducati is a story about a brave decision that changed the course of his career. Marquez admitted that his decision to leave Honda was not only about performance, but also about significant losses in various aspects of his personal life. So, what price did Marquez actually pay to return to the top of MotoGP with Ducati? Let's discuss it. At the 2025 Dutch Grand Prix podium, Marc Marquez stood not only as a winner, he stood as a symbol of an extraordinary comeback, one that came at a high price, with wounds, doubts, losses, and undying determination. For millions of MotoGP fans, Marquez's victory in Assen proved his new dominance with Ducati. But behind the cheers and impressive stats is a bitter tale of a bold decision once deemed the most reckless gamble in the sport's history. "I lost a lot just to see if I could still compete," Marquez said with tears in his eyes. "I bet on myself." From Arligny-Sen to Arligny-Zo, Marc Marquez was the god of the track. His 6 world titles, uncompromising riding style, and total dominance with Honda made him the rightful heir to the MotoGP throne. But everything came crashing down in Jerez at the start of the 2020 season. A brutal accident broke his right arm, both literally and figuratively. For surgeries, a lengthy rehabilitation, and a less-than-stellar comeback revealed the human side of a legend. While his body slowly recovered, Honda's performance plummeted. Season after season passed in frustration. Finally, Marquez made a crazy decision. He ended his €25 million a year contract with HRC and moved to Ducati's satellite team, Gresini Racing, amid speculation that he would receive no compensation. This decision shook the entire MotoGP paddock. Marc Marquez, the king of Honda, with 8 world titles and an icon of the biggest manufacturer, chose a path that was never expected. He abandoned all the comfort and power that had come with it. From a factory bike to a satellite bike. He left behind his loyal crew chief, Santi Hernandez. He also lost the backing of a major sponsor like Red Bull. To some, it seemed like a bold move. It was a gamble that could ruin his legacy. But for Marquez, it was a conviction-driven move. A personal mission. He wanted to prove to the world, and even more so to himself, that his greatness did not depend on big names, fancy facilities, or championship structures. "The most important year of my career was last year with Gresini," Marquez says, without hesitation, "because that's where it all started. That's where I showed that I'm not finished." The 2024 season was a stunning comeback. He scored 3 spectacular wins, finished 3rd in the standings, and became the only satellite rider able to compete directly with the factory giants. This achievement not only elevated Gresini to the top of the competition, but also shook Ducati's foundation. What Marquez did was more than just competitive. He changed the power dynamic. In the end, Ducati made an equally bold decision, promoting Marquez to the factory team for the 2025 season while allowing the reigning world champion, Jorge Martin, to move to Aprilia. Ducati's decision to recruit Marquez has drawn criticism and raised big questions. How could they let go of Jorge Martin, a young rider full of potential who had just won the world title for a legend considered past his prime? Martin was the future, fast, hungry, and free of the burden of history. However, Gigi, the brilliant architect behind Ducati's success, saw something deeper than statistics and age. He saw the unquenchable fire in Marquez, a champion's instinct that cannot be faked. "We knew it was a big gamble," Daligna said in an exclusive interview, "but we didn't recruit Marquez's past. We recruited his killer instinct on the track, his fighting spirit." 10 rounds into the 2025 season, that gamble has proven to be a golden move that has changed the championship landscape. Marc Marquez leads the standings by a staggering 68 points ahead of his rivals. He has recorded 8 sprint wins and 6 Grand Prix victories, figures that reflect dominance and incredible consistency. Moreover, Marquez rewrote history. He has equaled the legendary Giacomo Agostini's record of 68 Grand Prix wins and is now chasing the rider with the most wins, Valentino Rossi, who has won 89 times. The shadow duel between these two icons was felt again in the paddock and stands. For Marquez, this season is about more than just winning. "This is one of the best moments in my life," he said, his his eyes sparkling, not only because of the results, but because of all the wounds, struggles, and doubts I faced to come back here. Marc Marquez's presence not only brought victory on the track, but also shook the internal foundations of the Ducati team. Since the start of the 2025 season, Marquez's influence has been strongly felt, especially in the development of the Desmosedici GP25 motorcycle. The 8-time world champion's aggressive and calculating racing style has slowly begun to shape the motorbike's technical character, making it better suited to his needs. The most striking impact was seen on Francesco Bagnaia, the defending champion, previously touted as Ducati's future icon, now finds himself in Marquez's shadow. His performance has been inconsistent, and some have noted signs of a confidence crisis, especially after he struggled to keep up with Marquez's pace in the early stages of the season. Meanwhile, Enea Bastianini has not been immune to the impact. The Italian rider, once considered the backbone of Ducati, now has to accept a lesser role. He has slowly but surely become merely a shadow of the racing god, who now wears Ducati's signature red. Gigi Dell'Igna, the mastermind behind the Desmosedici project, openly admitted that Marquez's arrival has fundamentally altered the team's internal dynamics. The technical focus and strategy for developing the motorbike now adapt to Marquez's characteristics, rather than following the classic path built for Bagnaia or Jorge Martin's racing style. He's not just a rider, he's a game changer, Dell'Igna emphasized. This statement reflects the significant impact Marquez has made, not only on the standings but also on the Ducati team itself. Pecco Bagnaia did not hesitate to respond. "I really appreciate what Marc has done. It's not easy to leave the team a big salary and all the comforts behind to prove yourself once again. It takes great courage and conviction," said Bagnaia when asked about Marquez's sacrifice. With Ducati, however, the 2-time world champion also acknowledged that Marquez's arrival presented its own challenges. "I'm not going to lie, the changes that have occurred since the beginning of the season are significant. The way we work within the team has changed, and the technical focus has shifted slightly. But that's part of competing at the highest level. Ducati wants to win, and having a rider like Marc in the same garage automatically increases the pressure," said Pecco. In a world that often defines success by numbers and trophies, Marc Marquez's story shows that true greatness is found when someone dares to lose everything for what they believe in. He lost his salary, sponsors, crew chief, reputation, and most of the public's support. Yet today, he doesn't just lead a championship, he is building a legacy. "I can't choose between the past and the present," Marquez said. "But I know that without that crazy decision, I wouldn't be here today." With 6 world titles under his belt and a 7th looming, the world is asking again, are we witnessing the final chapter in the greatest comeback in MotoGP history, or the beginning of a new era for a legend? Let us know in the comments below.